Right, I'm live. Right, let's see what everything is like. Might have to do some readjustments. Bear with me a second. We've still got 1 more minute to go, in any case. Right, have I got audio? Hello. Okay. Mm, just a little bit more of a readjustment. That'll do for now. Just doing a little bit of standing meditation. We'll wait for 6:30. Okay, 6:30. So, good evening. And what we're going to be doing this evening is the 5 transformations. This is more commonly known as the 5 elements, sometimes known as the 5 phases. I actually prefer the term the 5 transformations because they're not really elements, they're not like things that are fixed states that are just kind of stuck in a particular state. They're actually these transformations, these Chinese elements are actually more to do with the cycle of life and how things move around. So it's more of a circular action rather than big, thick building blocks of elements that are piling on top of each other. And it can represent many, many different aspects of nature. For example, the seasons, and they can represent our taste buds because we've got 5 tastes. You might think, oh, you said 5 seasons, but there's only 4 seasons. Well, there's another way of looking at it, and that is there's another season, the late summer, and then the system works a lot better that way. And also, there's 5 major internal organ systems as well in our body, according to Chinese medicine. So, working with the 5 transformations takes all of this stuff together. And a good way of kind of expressing this is, for example, we have the element of the transformation of water, and this is a bit like a seed lying dormant in the ground. It's the egg, the seed. It's where we come from, and then as soon as springtime comes, it bursts open and starts to germinate and starts to break through the ground and sprouts upwards. It has a upward kind of energy to it, that growth spurt. And then after springtime, sorry, springtime is the wood transformation. But afterwards, we go into fire, which is summertime. And that's like the fiery flames of summertime. Everything's exciting. We rush around, have barbecues, outdoor parties, festivals, and things like that. And in terms of a plant, it'd be like the blossoming of a flower. And from there, we go into the transformation of earth or soil, as some people might describe it as. And this is like the time that we start to mature and start to harvest. It could be very much, especially in the northern hemisphere, say in the UK, be connected to harvest time. There's slightly different translations, but that's because there's different parts of the world, their seasons will be slightly different. But my interpretation, it's around about harvest time. And so the late summer earth transformation goes into metal. So we go into a downward cycle and things start to condense. And it's a bit like the leaves falling off the tree. So we're going into our autumn years, if you like, if you're talking about a life cycle. And then from the metal transformation, we go back into the ground, back hibernating into wintertime. And it's this continuous cycle of life as gets expressed through it. In fact, I might actually, on my next one, which won't be next week, but the week after, I might actually do a part two because there's a lot of material. I just suddenly realized, so I thought it'd be nice to do a part two for this. So before we do anything, just good to stand still. Have our feet shoulder width apart, thumbs touching the outside of our thighs, tailbone pointing downwards, helping to extend your spine. Golden thread coming from your head to the heavens above. Chin ever so slightly dropping, like it's tucking, but ever so slightly downwards, not too much. Helps the elongation in the muscles in the back of our neck. You might even, if they're tight, you might even feel them in between your shoulder blades. Let's have a quiet moment to allow our feet to root to the ground beneath us and to be connected to the inspirational heavens above at the top of our heads. And you can call this Tai Chi the great polarity. And from the great polarity, we start to move into yins and yangs and then start moving into the 5 transformations, which we're going to do now. So rubbing your hands vigorously together, it's a good warm-up exercise as well. Nice and toasty warm. And rubbing your kidneys and your lower back. And the kidneys are related to the water transformation. And shoulders slightly back. And then slow rotations. You can imagine, if you like, you're in a cool lake, your way up to your waist in a nice cooling or slightly warming lake, whatever you feel is suitable for you, because we're all different. Some people might need cooling, some people might need warming up. And the other way around. Nice and slow and steady. We want to cultivate our kidney water energy. This is our primordial energy, if you like, our base energy. So we don't want to waste it, we want to cultivate it. And it's nice and grounding as well. And relax there. And what I want you to do, we're going to do this on a slight angle. 1 foot forward and the 1 foot back. Fingers pointy downwards. And bring your hands around. Weight goes into the back foot. Turning on the waist. Pressing with the backs of your hands as you're going forward. Weight slightly goes towards your forward foot. And this is called casting a net. So imagine that you're on a boat and you're casting a net out to catch them little fishes. Fish being very um, related to the water energy. And feel that you're moving in water as well. And the movements are smooth and steady, like a gentle current, soothing and relaxing, but also supportive. And your feet are grounded on the bed of the lake or a river bed. And breathing in as you're coming in, breathing out as you're going out. Also good exercise for your kidney energy and your lower back. The back, especially the lower back, is related to your kidney energy, your water energy. And then change over. What should I do? I do it this way. Change your feet over. I'm only doing this to get into the camera and flipping from side to side, but if we do exercises on one side, we need to do them on the other. We're spending a little bit of time with the water exercises because that is the fundamental aspect of our energy, the fundamental yin yang of our body. Like I said earlier, you could call it primordial energy. You could even call it ancestral energy as well. The energy you get from your parents and from your ancestors. Today we call it DNA. And one last sweep around. And relax. So the next transformation is wood, sometimes translated as tree. And what we're going to do is, well, I'm hesitating. There's a reason for that, because any exercise is good for your wood or your tree energy, and it's related to your liver. Liver kind of regulates chi around the body, so any movement is good for that, you see. So also it's about the direction that we're going in. So I know I've mentioned this a few weeks ago on another video, but springtime and that kind of sprout coming out of the ground is very much the direction of that plant. And what's the direction that you're heading towards in your life? These things are highly symbolic. So step forward and stretch. So both arms are stretched out horizontally, looking along the arm and the fingers of your forward arm. Step back, hands on your waist, and step forward and stretch. So your forward foot, when you step forward, make sure that this bit is perpendicular, vertical to the floor. Don't overextend your knee. So the wood tree energy is about flexibility as well, or lack of flexibility. Are you too stiff or are you too flexible? Do you bend too easily or are you not bending enough? Little questions you can ask yourself. And we're not talking just about physically, but also mentally and emotionally as well. And then stepping back and relax for a moment. We'll just allow the energy just to settle down. Tree energy can whoosh quite fast upwards, just like the sprout, padoing goes outwards. So we just want to, for a moment, just allow our energy to settle. You can bring your hands just below your navel. To do that, making sure that your feet are grounded. So from there, we go to the transformation of fire. And what we're going to do there is interlock our fingers, and the fire energy is also to do with your heart and your small intestine in your guts. And there are various other kind of processes as well. But we'll just focus on our heart and our small intestine. If anybody's into this kind of TCM Oriental medicine stuff, what the exercises we're going to do now is actually good for the triple burners, like 3 burning spaces that regulate our body and internal organs. So if you think you don't understand that, don't worry. Just do the exercise. It's very good for the warmth and the heat and the blood circulation as well, because our heart is related to blood. So interlock your fingers and breathe in, bring them above your heads, and breathe out, bringing your arms back down again. Interlock fingers, breathing in, turning the hands above your heads, and breathing out. Bring them down again. And just repeat. Breathing in, turning your hands above your heads or above your forehead, and stretch up, keeping your feet on the floor. You can look slightly upwards as you do that, and breathe out. And now as you're coming up, breathing out, bring your hands way above your heads, and then breathe in, bring the hands near to the top of your head. Breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out like a pumping action. Keeping your back straight as well, tailbone pointing downwards with this exercise. And finally relax and allow the blood to flow back into your arms. And from fire, we go into earth, late summer, which is related to our spleen, pancreas, stomach organs in this area. So it has a big influence on our digestion system. And so our next exercise is very good for that. So imagine you're holding a ball in front of your navel, and then bring one hand up and the other hand down. And bring the hands back, crossing over in front of your belly, and then extending upwards again and pressing downwards slightly. So the quality of earth is very centering. After the fiery flames of summertime, they start to burn out. And we're just going into a more centering and calming energy of earth. So bring your hands back to your belly. And then bring your hands down towards the earth below and relax. And now we're going into the transformation of metal, which is associated with autumn time and breathing in our lungs and elimination from our large intestine. So what I want you to do is interlock your thumbs with the fingers pointy downwards and breathe in, lifting up your fingers and bending forwards. Take it easy if you've got lower back problems, and just allow your head to dangle forwards and bring those fingers upwards a little bit if you can, releasing the tension between your shoulder blades, which is good for your lung energy. Our large intestine is squished downwards, helping with movement, peristalsis, or motility, whatever term you like to use. And breathing in on your next in-breath, coming up and circle the arms around. And connect the thumbs together. Interlock those thumbs. And breathe in, lifting your head and your chest up slightly. And breathing out, going forwards, downwards. And breathe naturally. And on your next in-breath, bring your arms back up and rotate back down again. So basically we've covered all 5 transformations. And if you do that on a regular basis, you'll probably find that you have a good sense of balance with your different internal organs, which also have different emotions that relate to them. In fact, we'll do that in part 2. So come along 2 weeks' time and we'll talk a little bit more about the organs and the emotions with the exercise as well. So I think we're going to finish off this evening with the 4-season Qigong exercise. And this is another kind of good way of balancing. And it would be good to center our energy in our body. So, having your hands just below the navel, representing winter time. And from winter time, we bring our hands up to our chest and we stretch out into springtime. It's like pushing 2 walls of a narrow corridor slightly, slight bends in your elbows. And breathing in. And breathing out, expanding into the fiery flames of summertime. And breathing in, bring your hands back to the center. And then breathe out, bring your arms forwards like the leaves dangling. Oh, sorry, dropping off in autumn time. Good one to do with children. And then breathing in and breathing out, settling down and hibernating in winter time. Imagine sitting in front of a nice coal fire, eating mince pies or whatever you fancy. And so from there, from hibernation, like the seed lying dormant in the ground, we sprout spring time. And breathing in. Breathing out, it's like the fiery flames of summertime. Excitement. Travel. Socializing and all that type of stuff. And we can draw that energy down and then going forwards. Sorry, going forward to your body, that is. But the energy is actually condensing into autumn time and the leaves are falling off the trees. The trees are condensing their sap as well. And breathing in, drawing in to the center and breathing out. Sorry, that's right, breathing in, breathing out. Back down to winter time. So we'll do a couple rounds of that without me talking. So back to our belly, back to our hara. So for gentlemen, your right hand with the left, sorry, for ladies, your right hand with the left hand on top. And for gentlemen, your left hand with your right hand on top. And do 3 deep abdominal breaths to store the energy we've been cultivating in this session. Okay, so hopefully that's been a benefit for you this evening. Just check my diary. And next week, which is the 24th, unfortunately, I'm busy that day. I've got a prior appointment that evening. But the 31st, I'll do another video, 6:30. So what I'm going to say is that if we do part 2, as in go a little bit more into the 5 transformations with the exercises, and then you'd have a nice little package to work with. So I wish you all a good evening. Thank you for joining, and see you all soon. Bye for now.